Welcome everybody to the ninth chapter, which is considered a very, very important chapter. It is called Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Raja Vidya means sovereign knowledge, like king of all knowledge. And Raja Guhya means it's the greatest secret. Nobody knows. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. And as usual, we would like to acknowledge Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati for the traditional rendering of Vedanta as it was done for over 1,000 years, starting with Adi Shankaracharya. We'll say a small prayer. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Partyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankaracharya in the middle, continuing up to our immediate teacher, Swami Paramarthananda Saraswati. So we will continue where we left up. So we studied until the third shloka. So Bhagavan is giving an introduction to Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam, knowledge of the nature of God without attributes. So this chapter is fully about Brahman. Brahman is the consciousness that pervades everywhere. It is the higher, it's called the Para Prakriti, which is the highest form of Prakriti, of everything existent, because it's pure consciousness. And then Bhagavan has talked about Apara Prakriti, anything that has matter, energy, Maya, that combined, even if it's combined with consciousness, that's a lower nature. It is called Apara Prakriti. So Bhagavan is giving an introduction. Now in 4 to 10 is a very, very powerful and important shlokas. He is going to dive into Nirguna, which means without gunas, Ishvara, God, Swarupam, the nature, Jnanam, knowledge of the nature of God without gunas or without attributes. So the 4th to 10th verse is Brahma Swarupam, Swarupam of the Brahman or the consciousness. Nirguna Ishvara Swarupajnana, knowledge of the nature of God without attributes. Nirguna Ishvara in Vedanta is also called Brahman. This portion is the essence of the Upanishads and hence is very important, these 7 verses. And usually they talk about 5 features of the Brahman. So we've seen the 5 features of the Atma in the 2nd chapter, if you remember. Similarly, Brahman also has 5 features. First, Nirgunam or Avyaktam. It is unmanifested. If it is unmanifested, it has no qualities like color, shape, all those things are not there. So it's unmanifested in nature. Therefore, because it's unmanifest, it doesn't have any gunam. Guna means attributes, color, shape, form, beautiful, ugly, all that. It has absence of tangible qualities for perception. Nirgunam avyaktam. And it is atham sarvagataha, all pervading. Everywhere in the universe, it is there. Even the secret is, even after we die, it exists in the body, but there is no reflecting medium. There's no sukshma sharinam to reflect it. Therefore, we are dead, but it's still there in the body. Vishwadharam, adharam, it's a supporter. Bhuta Bhrita, it is all the bhutams, the beings, it supports. So, what is it? It is ever the supporter, but never the supporter. You don't need to worship to sustain God. It is always supported on its own. That is Brahman. Asangatvam. Sangam means attachment, right? Asangam means when there's attachment, there is. So let's say you're getting attached to a chocolate ice cream that you're eating. You so much love it, you smear it all over your face. So it is getting, your face is getting sullied. Similarly, Sangam always causes sullying or impurities rubbing over you. It is Asangatvam, means unsullied nature. Impurities of the world do not sully the Lord, because the Brahman is the ashraya, the base, the refuge on whom others lean. The Brahman can be on its own. It doesn't need anybody. It's not defined by the world. It is separate entity. The universe is not Brahman, but it pervades everything. You cannot say, so come to a very important statement. What Bhagavan says is that I am not the sum total of the parts. I am more than the sum of the parts. So my parts are all these different earths, we people all together. If you call it God, Bhagavan says, no, I am more than that. So he's going to tell that, because all you guys, you are there today and you're gone tomorrow. And after Pralayam, you don't even see, you cease to exist as you matter, you become Maya. So this is a very important, crucial point. So we'll come to that. Asangatvam. Then Srishti, Sthiti, Laya Karanam, which is Srishti, creation. Sthiti means preservation or maintenance. And Layam means it is going into Pralaya, means great Laya, which means it is dissolving. So you can't say destruction because it's too strong a word. It means resolution is the word we use in Vedanta. So Laya Karana means the cause of creation, maintenance, and dissolution of Jagataha, the entire universe. So just to remind, Atma and Brahman, they're one and the same. In the context of the home inside, you call it inner space. But space is one. It extends from inside all the way to outer space, universe, everywhere. So Atma is in the context of the body, we call it Atma. The same Brahman in the context of the universe, it's called Brahman. Same thing. So we saw the 5 properties of the Atma. And what are those 5 properties? Aprameyaha. Similar, see here, it is avyaktam, unmanifested. Because it is avyaktam, you cannot comprehend it. Okay? Avinashi, it is never destroyed. It is always there. These are all in the context of the body, you will say. Even the body falls, the Atma is still there. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Even the Sukshma Shariram is resolved into Karana Shariram. So we know the body dies, the matter becomes other things. It becomes food for earthworms, or it becomes carbon dioxide in the atmosphere if you burn. But the body is destroyed. Even the Sukshma Shariram loses its form when during Pralaya. But Atma is ever there. That is because it is the consciousness. Avinashi, eternal or indestructible. Sarvagataha, it is all pervading. It is there. It's still in the body after we die. The only thing, the reflecting medium called the Sukshma Shariram is not there. Nirvikaraha, it is changeless. Vikaram means change. In some languages, especially Tamil, Munji Vikarama irukku due to the makeup, they say. It means it looks disfigured with all the makeup somebody is wearing. But the actual meaning of the word nirvikaraha means changeless. Vikaram means change. Akarta and abhokta, very, very important property. Atma does not do anything. It's like the electricity. In the presence of the electricity, the fan runs. In the presence of the electricity, in another object, the light glows. So, depending on the nature of their gunas, different people do different things, but it's the same consciousness illuminating everything. It is akarta, means non-doer of actions. Abhokta, because it doesn't do anything, it's not affected by the results of actions. The next 13 shlokas illustrate these properties. So we saw all that in the second chapter. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. Okay, now 4th and 5th shlokas are the most confusing shlokas in the entire Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is going to say mischief. Krishna's mischief. He's going to say one thing. In the next statement, he's going to say exactly the opposite thing. So everybody who sees some of the commentaries, I mean, they'll just brush past, sweep it under the rug, just say something. But then intelligent student will ask, Swamiji, you're saying this, and the next shloka, it says the exact opposite. What's the meaning of all this? Then they'll say, oh, that's Krishna's mischief, just to see if you're paying attention. No, But Krishna, there's a subtle point, and you need a Mahan like Shankaracharya to illustrate the subtle point. And this pattern is used in the Upanishads. Krishna is just borrowing it and using this pattern. Okay. Maya tatam idam sarvam. All this universe is pervaded by Jagat. Sarvam Jagat. All this universe, Maya, by me, tatam, pervaded. Idam Jagat. So this entire, all this universe is pervaded by me. Okay, understood? Um, and who am I? Avyaktamurtina. My form is unmanifest. Avyaktam means unmanifest. Vyaktam means manifest. And the word murti means form. That's why in the idols in the temples they are called murtis, because they have a form. So Avyaktamurtinam, whose form is unmanifest. My form is unmanifest. Matstani sarva bhutani. Matstani, in me. Sarva bhutani, all beings exist in me. The exist is not there. Matstani sarva bhutani asti, you can say. So all beings are in me, or they exist in me. Nachaham teshu avastitaha. I am not in them, or I am not supported in them. So this is like a confusing statement. All beings are in me, and I am not in them. What Bhagavan is saying that is that it's not like I'm taking a piece of me, putting it in Shakti, little piece in Ravi, little piece in Patya, and saying, okay, the combination of all six of you in the screen is me. No, Bhagavan is not saying that. I am not supported in them. So it is like this Horcrux or something in this Harry Potter. So they put it in this, and if you destroy that, it's gone. No, it's not like that. Even if they are destroyed, I am there. I am not supported in them. I am much more than them, and they're nothing to me. That's what Bhagavan says. So you have three properties from the, remember these properties of the Brahman. This shloka illustrates three properties. First is, I am formless, unmanifest, Bhagavan says. I am tatam, all pervading, and I am the supportless supporter, because people don't need to define me. So if there's no country, you don't have a president or a prime minister. The fact that you call a prime minister because you have a huge number of people to lead, right? But Bhagavan is not like that. It's much more than that. His title is not defined by the fact that he is leading us or anything. Do you understand? So he's much more than that. It is the supportless supporter. And in this, Swamiji makes a very important point. If you have experienced God in any form, you had a vision or something of Kali, whatever, if you have experienced form in any particular form, then it is only the lower nature of God. It's a very powerful statement that is implicit in the shloka. Because Bhagavan says, my form is unmanifest. Therefore, if you experienced a manifest God, like as a vision or something, it is a lower form of God. Okay. So the 3 points: avyakta murtina, unmanifested form; tatam, see, tatam, it is, means all pervading; matstani sarvabhutani, tachaham teshvavastitaha. I am the supportless supporter. All these 3 are covered. All these are Upanishadic ideas that Bhagavan has told here. It's Brahman is not available for sensory perception. The way it comes in the Upanishads, apparently it's Ashabdam, Asparsham, Arupam, Arasam, Agandham, no smell; Ashabdam, no sound; Asparsham, no touch; Rupam, no form for us to see; Rasam, no taste; Gandham, no smell. Brahman is that root, and the root for Sarva Gataha is Sarva Gatan. Tan means to pervade. Um, Santati means flowing. So it's pervading everything. And Vishwadaram, it's a Mithya Jagat Adhishtanam. So these 3 properties, so all these properties will be covered in the shlokas. Nirgunam, Tatam, Vishwadam are covered. Now let's go into the subtler meaning, which Shankaracharya is going to illustrate. The common example they give is gold and ornaments. For all beings exist in me, but I am not in them. It can be very confusing, right? What do you mean? Once you're saying, "Oh, Brahman, I am there in everything to make it work," and now you're saying, "I am not in them." So, or I'm not supported in them. Um, so I am not in them. So the way you have to interpret it is, I am not supported in them. That is, I don't need them to be alive. So what is the meaning of this? All gold. Look at the subtle point. There is gold. Consider the sum total of gold all over the world. Okay. All gold ornaments exist in gold. The chain exists in gold. The bangle exists in gold. The bracelet exists in gold. But gold does not exist in the chain. It does. There is gold in the chain, but it does not exist in the chain in the sense that gold does not depend on the chain for its existence. The chain is nothing but gold. The chain is just a name form. Today, it can be a chain. Tomorrow, you can deform, melt it, and make it into a ring or something. So, gold is Satya, right? The chain is nothing but gold. Gold is Satya, the chain is Mithya, which means gold is independent, the chain is dependent. The chain has no existence without the gold. But gold does not depend on the chain, because it can be a chain today, it can be a ring tomorrow. So something which has a lower order of existence, we've seen the word Mithya. It is called Mithya. It's seemingly there, just like a dream. Dream gives us, we sweat, right? And when we wake up from a terrible dream, we are sweating. All those things happen, but does it do anything to you really? No. It's seemingly real, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't really affect you. You're not getting killed or something. Of course, you're sweating. It's seemingly real, but not really real. It doesn't happen. So that is called mithya. So the important concept of mithya, we've introduced it before, but we will, in the second chapter, we will again go over that. Chain is seemingly existent, but upon closer look, it is just nama rupa is a word that is used in Vedanta. Name form. Because you can melt it into a ring, a bangle, anything. Mithya, therefore, is seemingly existent, but upon closer examination is not existent. Because upon closer examination, you only find gold. When you melt it, it's only gold. When you just go close and look at it, you only see gold. Mithya means experientially available, but factually non-existent. Very, very, very important concept. Therefore, that which has got an existence of a lower order of reality is called mithya. Okay? Dream as mithya. It exists during dream state and can be terrifying, but is gone in the waking state. Now comes the second confusing shloka. Nacha matstani bhutani pashya me yogam aishwaram bhuta bhrunna cha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Here the word yoga, pashyame yogam aishwaram. Aishwaram is richness, splendor. See my um, divine union. Yogam is used in the context of union or connection. See my divine union with the universe. So you have to fill it up, because he's been talking about Jagat. So it means Yogam Aishwaram. Aishwaram means like splendid union with the universe. And what is he saying? He's saying, Nacha Matstani Bhutani. Beings do not dwell in me. Previously, he said, all beings dwell in me, and I am not in them. I am not supported in them. Now he's exactly saying the opposite word, and he's not saying this in a different chapter or after 10 shlokas. He's playing a mischief. He's saying it right in the next sloka. See how it is. Matstani sarva bhutani, in the 9.4, all beings are in me. Then he says, Nacha matstani bhutani, no change at all. Na matstani bhutani. So he's doing a blatant trick here. He's saying you guys are all idiots because you're not listening properly. Bhagavan is playing his biggest trick in the Bhagavad Gita here. Beings don't dwell in me. And only Adi Shankaracharya's commentary clarifies the seeming contradiction. Everybody else sweeps it under the rug. So and let's read the full sloka. Bhuta bhrinna cha bhutastaha mamatma bhuta bhavanaha nacha bhutastaha. I do not exist in them. Bhuta asti na cha bhuta asti. I am not in them, but I am bhuta bhrit. I sustain, and I am bhuta bhavanaha. Bhavana is creation. Bhuta bhrit is sustaining. I sustain and create all beings, create and sustain all beings, but I do not exist in them. Okay, so what is the meaning of all this? Nor do beings dwell in me. So the chain is not in gold because there is no such thing as the chain. It is a name form. All beings exist in me and beings do not dwell in me. The way we have to look at it is chain is in gold, right? But upon closer inspection, chain is not in gold because there's no such thing as chain. It is just a name form. Chain is seemingly there, but it is not there. Everything is gold. So if Bhagavan says, a bit of me is all these objects and people, and I'm sum total of that, then if they all start dying and perishing at Pralayam, I'm gone. So he says, I'm there. All beings exist in me, and beings are not in me because they're in me now and they're not in me tomorrow. So he is telling this to show that all these are mithya. I am the Satya. Is this point clear? Like dream, seemingly there, when you wake up, it's gone. So all beings exist in me and beings don't dwell in me, which means Bhagavan says, yes, chain isn't gold. Um, but upon closer inspection, chain is not in gold because there is no such thing as a chain. It is just a name form. Chain is seemingly there, but it's not there. It is to illustrate the point that chain is mithya. That is the contradiction which they use in Vedanta to illustrate a point that it is not a permanent object. Jagat, universe as mithya. Krishna accepts the universe and then rejects it. He therefore points out, from people's point of view, the various parts of the universe are real. From Brahman's point of view, they do not exist permanently. Like a dream, it's there, troubles us for a while, but then it's gone. From people's point of view, gold chain is real. From gold's point of view, gold chain is just gold. There is no chain. It is just a name form or nama rupa. It could be melted and made into a ring. That is why in Brahman, is called in the Lalita Sahasranamam, it's called Mithya Jagat Adhishtanam. Mithya Jagat, the entire universe is Mithya. Mithya Jagat Adhishtanam, which is the supporter of this seemingly real but not real universe. Because why? At one point, Pralayam, everything gets resolved into Maya. So he's talking about the Brahman as the only thing that is Satya. Satya means ever there. The truth, it can never be changed. The grand truth, even after Pralayam, it is true. Mithya, from one angle, it seems to exist, from another angle, it is not existent. This has a very important life lesson. Do not depend on worldly things for support, for happiness. They are transitory, cannot provide support. Look into yourself to find the Brahman. That is meditation. That's what's said in the 6th chapter. Very, very important point. So now he is bringing two more. So we have five. We've covered 1, 2, and 3 properties. Now is again Bhuta Brita. He is Bhagavan is the supporter, um, and Bhuta Bhavanaha. It's creator of all beings. Jagat, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya Karanam. So Srishti, Bhuta Bhavanaha. Bhagavan is again saying that this is 3, 5. Ever the supporter, never the supporter. So Vishwadharam, Srishti Karanam. That's also illustrated here. Asangatvam is the only property which we have not seen, which will come in the next shloka. So far, is it clear? Very, very important point. The mithya. Anybody has any questions here? Okay. So यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गो महान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय. Beautiful shloka, one of the most powerful shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita. Yata akasthito nityam vayuhu. What kind of vayuhu is this? Mighty wind, mahan vayuhu. Sarvatra, go literally means go here in Sanskrit. Gati, it's gaha. That's what sarvatra gaha means, going everywhere. The wind, which seems to go everywhere, is still contained in space. Akasha means space. So in some languages, especially in some South Indian languages, it has the connotation of sky. But Akasha in Sanskrit means space, not sky. Okay, Gagana Sadrisham, that's sky. The Akasha here, it's space. Yata Akasha Stito Nityam. Always the wind can go everywhere, but it's still contained in space. Vayu Sarvatra Go Mahan, mighty wind. Tata Sarvani Bhutani Matstani Upadaraya. Upadaraya means may you understand. Sarvani Bhutani, all beings, Matstani, they exist in me. So the fire is in space, but fire cannot burn space. That's the important thing he's trying to say. This says that space is unsullied by everything it holds. Mahan denotes the pervasiveness of the wind. Even the greatest thing, the most powerful thing, cannot sully the space. Like that, nothing can sully Brahman. Just as the dream world is real from the standpoint of the dreaming individual, but the dream world is unreal from the standpoint of the waker. So Lord is compared to space. Space is not sullied. Okay, so it's an important concept. So asangatvam, unsullied nature, impurities of the world do not sully the Lord, the Ashraya. Okay, so now, so in the 7th chapter, we saw all about the resolution. On the 8th chapter, we saw all about the creation, resolution, all that stuff, right? Punah punah, again and again, Bhagavan creates and then resolves, creates, resolves, because it's a cycle. He is illustrating the same point again. सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वाम् अवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् avasham prakrutirvashat. So these two concepts, they flow, so they're usually tied together. These two shlokas, 7th and 8th, they're like one continuous flow, so they are usually chanted together and explained together. Now he uses the word prakritim swam avashtabhya. If you remember the previous chapters, in the 4th chapter, he talks about avatara. Do you remember that? The 4th chapter? Yada yada hi dharmasya. Those who have seen Mahabharata, the TV serial in the olden days, it comes yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata. Okay, so abhyukthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinachayascha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So even there it comes ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. Even though ajo, I am unborn, api san means even though being unborn, Avyayatma, eternal being, Bhutanam Ishvaro San, I am being the uh, Lord of all beings, still Prakritim Swam Prakrishtim Avashtabhya Sambhavam Atmamaya. Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya Sambhavam Atmamaya. We saw about people's birth. We come into this world because of our karma. We fall. Bhagavan descends because of Maya. Take controlling his own Prakriti. Bhagavan descends as Maya's avatara. So that's he again says that. Okay, now let's look at the meaning. Sarva Bhutani, all beings, O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, son of Kunti, Prakritim, Mamikam Prakritim Yanti, which means they reach this Prakriti, which is a nature belonging to me. When Kalpakshaye, at the time of Shayam, or at the time of dissolution of a Kalpa or an era, then Kalpa Adau, during the beginning of a Kalpa, Punas Tani Visrujamyaham, I send them forth again at the beginning of a Kalpa. So all beings, O son of Kunti, reach the Prakriti belonging to me at the time of dissolution of a Kalpa, and I send them forth again, Punaha, again, at the beginning of a Kalpa. Puna Tani Kalpa Adau, Adi, it's beginning. Adi means beginning. So at the Kalpa Adau, Punastani Visrujami, I just cast them forth in the beginning. So he's using like a casual Visrujamyaham. Then Bhagavan says, Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya, controlling my own nature. So to come into the world, there have to be some laws of physics and everything has to be um, has to be obeyed. Bhagavan can't say I can come and just start flying. No. So Bhagavan has to come, control the nature, obey the laws of physics, and do everything. Okay. That's why Bhagavan also plays some tricks in the Mahabharata to get things done. It's not just taking his discus and just chopping everybody's heads off. Prakritim swam avashtabhya visrujami punah punaha. I just cast them forth again and again. And then for what does he do? The Bhuta Gramam Imam Kritsnam. Bhuta Gramam means like it has a context of a village, but Bhuta Gramam means entire beings, the multitude of beings, Kritsnam, the entire collection of beings. I cast them forth again and again. Avasham Prakriter Vashat. So avasham means helplessly, but Bhagavan is not doing it helplessly. So the context you have to use here is necessarily by the force of Prakriti. There is a law order, and that is the karma. The law of karma governs everything. So necessarily by that is the force of Prakriti Bhagavan is talking about. Necessarily by the force of Prakriti, I control my own Prakriti and send forth these beings. And Bhagavan is going to say, I am not partial. Oh, I'm not partial to Arjuna. I don't like Duryodhana. No, nothing like that. I just follow the rules of Prakriti and things just happen. Okay. Prakritir Vashat means that by the grip of Prakriti, by the force of Prakriti. Vasham means just grip. Avasham means usually helplessly, but here it is necessarily. Okay. So we saw that in the fourth chapter. Ajopi sannapyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adishtaya sambhavam pyatma mayaya. here uses Prakritim from Avashtabhya, here Adhishtaya, controlling. Um, and here he is saying, yeah, both words are more or less same. Adhishtaya means I'm just presiding over. So I come into being by my own Maya. So Bhagavan's birth is through Maya. So this again shows the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya Karanam. Yeah, it also talks about the Laya Karanam of the Jagataha, cause, the origination, existence, and the resolution of the universe. Krishna um, introduced this in the fifth verse. So creation, Bhagavan does not actually create, but the world is already existent in the seed form. So that's one of the very important things with Vedanta. Even though we call it Srishti, the word, even us, Sukshma, so we, if you say there's a we, the actual we is the consciousness. But then you may first we start identifying with the body. Then at some point, oh, okay, I'm not the body. Because I, who am observing the pain and everything, I'm not the body. Then when your mind becomes a little quiet, then you say, okay, I'm able to observe the thoughts in the mind. I'm not the mind. The mind belongs to what? The Sukshma Shariram. But the Sukshma Shariram exists after this death and it keeps going. But even that Sukshma Shariram at Pralayam is gone and it gets resolved into a seed form like the DNA. It is called Karana Shariram. We saw that, right? So beings are unmanifested. Abhyaktadhini bhutani vyaktamadya nibharata avyaktanidana eva tatra ka paridevana. Somehow the Sanskrit text didn't come out well here. Beings are unmanifest in the beginning, they are manifest in the middle, and they become unmanifest in the end. So beginning means what? During everything is sleep, pralayam. Then srishti happens, creation, universe comes into being, again pralayam. So what is there to grieve over? This he says in the second chapter. And in the eighth chapter, he says, अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्पाः प्रभवन्त्यः रागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाप्यक्तसंज्ञके. Avyaktat vyaktaha, from unmanifested to manifest, sarva prabhavaha ahar agame, during the day of the Brahman, from unmanifest they become manifest. Then ratri agame, at the night of the Brahman, that is during pralayam, praliyante, they get resolved uh, into what? Tatra eva avyakta, into the unmanifested form, which is Maya. Sanyake means may you understand. So he's told that again and again previously. Nacha mam tani karmani nibhatnanti dhananjaya udasina vadasinam asaktam teshu karmasu. So I told you, right? Bhagavan is not partial to anybody. He's going to say this, and again in one more shloka, he'll say, um, nobody is dear to me or nobody is an enemy to me. Every samam sarveshu bhuteshu, he'll say, everything is same to me. So here he says, O Dhananjaya, nacha tani karmani, these actions of creation and destruction or resolution, na mam nibatnanti, these actions, those actions do not bind me. Okay? And who am unattached, asaktam teshu karmasu, means I am who am unattached to the actions. And udasinavat asinam. Asinam means seated. Asana is a seat. You Bhagavan is just seated in a like a unattached to as an indifferent person. Udasinavat. Udasina means indifferent. Udasinavat, as a indifferent person, Bhagavan is seated, unattached to the creation and resolution, because it follows Prakriti, law of nature. Bhagavan does not meddle. is the thing he's trying to say. And we saw Atma does not do akarta abhokta, same parallel with Brahman. Inner space, outer space. Atma in the context of the body, Brahman in the context of the universe. So, Sakshi Bhavaha, akarta abhokta, we saw the properties of the Atma. Here, there's no sense of doership for the Brahman also. And we saw that in the context of Atma in the fifth chapter. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavit pashyan shrunvan sprishan chigran ashnan gachan swapan swashan pralapan visrijan grindan unmishan nimishan napi. So whether you're eating, sleeping, doing all those things, the wise person knows that I am not the one doing. It's my indriyani indriyateshu vartantaiti dharayan. It's all the sense objects with the mind which is doing all this. But I am the sakshi tattvam. I am the witness principle. I don't do anything. Like that, Brahman is the witness principle for the actions. What actions? They are the creation, maintenance, and destruction or dissolution. We perform at a micro level, same consciousness performs at a micro level, and at the macro level, Brahman, the same consciousness is doing. Is it clear? Understood? Now it's going to be explained. Sakshi Baba, beautiful shloka. Sakshi Baba, just witness, like electricity doesn't do anything. It just comes, witnesses, everything happens. Like that, Maya yakshena prakritihi Suyate sacharacharam hetunamena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Maya means because of me. Maya can also mean by me. So here, adhyakshena means as the presiding principal or the supervisor. Supervisor, they don't do anything. They just come, see, make sure everybody is doing right. So here and there, some things may go on wrong. So they may just steer in the proper direction. Like that, Bhagavan also takes avatars, apparently, just to steer things. But by and large, because of me, the presiding principle, the suyate sacharacharam, the nature produces the moving and the unmoving. Charam is those which move, which are living beings. Acharam are the inert beings, rocks, everything. The Prakriti, nature creates the moving and the non-moving things. Anena hetuna, because of this reason, O Kaunteya, son of Kunti, Jagat viparivartate, the world revolves or undergoes changes. So Bhagavan says, it is not because I meddle with anything. I'm just there. And because of me, excuse me, the world revolves. And in the Upanishads, it comes, the fear of Brahman, the sun rises. For the fear of Brahman, the moon comes, everything, the wind blows, all those things happen. The fear of Brahman is just figuratively, but because it is there, the supervisor is there, everything happens. Is that understood? So it's a Sakshi Bhavaha. Brahman is the Sakshi Bhavaha. So this concludes the Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam. Ishvara is Akarta Abhokta. We cannot blame the Lord for our problems. We cannot say Bhagavan is unjust. So I have told the story of Uttanka and Krishna before. So in the story, I hope you guys remember. You want me to tell that story again, or should we just move? I've told it actually 3 times, 3 or 4 times, so it should be boring.
No, actually, yes. No, no. If you can repeat it, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
So if people are bored, you know who to blame. Okay.
Thank you.
So, all right. What happens is at the end of the war is over. Bhagavan wants to go back to Dwaraka because he is the king of Dwaraka. Nothing has happened. He's worried what is the state of affairs in my kingdom. So he's rushing to go. And then Arjuna first asked the question, "Oh, I forgot the Bhagavad Gita. Can you please repeat it to me?" And then Bhagavan says, "Oh my God, why did I tell this to you?" And then he repeats it in the form of Anugita. Then Yudhishthira has a lot of doubts. I cannot ascend the throne. Finally, he convinces Yudhishthira to take up the throne. And so one after the other, things happening. Then he was about to put one foot on the chariot. He's taking a foot and is about to keep it on the chariot. And then this Rishi Uttanka comes. Uttanka is a great Rishi. Then he says, "Oh, Krishna, where are you going?" He says, "Oh, I'm going back to Dwaraka. Now that the war is over, I have to go govern my kingdom." So he goes and he says, "What war are you talking about?" Then Krishna is surprised. All this with one leg. Bhagavan has not kept the other foot on the chariot. It's just one hanging in midair. And Bhagavan says, "Oh, you didn't hear about the Mahabharata war? It was one of the biggest war that has been fought so far." "What Mahabharata war? Who was it fought between the Kauravas and the Pandavas?" "Oh, Krishna, you must be such a nice person. So, did you manage to avert the war and console everybody and try to broker peace?" And then Bhagavan says, "No, unfortunately, I could not do that." And all the Kauravas are gone. And then Uttanka gets angry. He's a rishi. He gets angry and he says, "What? You, the Lord of the universe, you have created this mass destruction? That is so bad. Now I'm going to pronounce a curse on you. You better give a good reason why you did such a thing. Otherwise, I'm going to curse you." And then Bhagavan, he smiles and he says, "Don't waste your tapobalam on me. All the strength you've gotten from the uh, years of austerities, you're going to lose it and it's going to have no effect on me. Don't waste your tapobalam by cursing me. But I will tell you." And then gives a full explanation. All the beings, they were there from the beginning. So, folks, first Uttanka says, "You created their karma. You created their janma, and the previous janma, or the previous karma was due to their janma, and you created that. So the first janma you created. Why did you, if you wanted them to have this end, why did you create them janma? Because you are a sadist." All that he is saying. And then Bhagavan says, they were there infinitely, even before the um, creation, srishti, because they were there as the karana shariram. Their karmas were always there. Remember, the karma, it's there. He was even before srishti as karana shariram, as maya. So, and finally, Uttanka falls at Krishna's feet and he asks for forgiveness. And then finally, Bhagavan is wanting to put the foot on the chariot. And then Uttanka asks for one more request. He says, "Show me the Vishwarupa Darshana." So he is one of the few people who has seen the Vishwarupa Darshana. So that is the story. Now I wanted to complete one more shloka, um, Samsara Karanam. So we do 8 shlokas. So now we've finished Nirguna Ishvara Swarupa Jnanam. Now we are going into Samsara Karanam. Remember the same thing. 7th chapter also had Samsara Karanam and Samsara Pariharaha, remedy to the human suffering. This is where Bhakti is introduced. So 1 to 3, we saw faith is very important. Now it's again going to come as why the samsara karanam occurs. It's lack of bhakti. So 4 to 10, Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam. Now Bhakti is introduced as a remedy to samsara. If you note in chapter 7 also, Samsara Karanam and Pariharaha was introduced. And this type of Bhakti, now he's going to talk about Vedanta Vichara Rupa Bhakti or Jnana Yoga Rupa Bhakti. Bhakti is divided into 3 types based on sadhanas. All this he's going to talk about in this section. So Avajananti mam mudaha Manushim tanum ashritam param bhavamajanantah mama bhuta maheshwaram avajananti mam mudaha. Those deluded ones who not who don't know me, they look down upon me because I have taken a human form. Manushim tanum ashritam, which means taking, tanu means form. Manushim tanu means human form. Ashritam means taking a human form. These deluded ones look upon me who have taken a human form. Avajananti, not knowing. Param bhavam, not knowing my higher nature. What kind of higher nature? Param bhavam. Ajananta, not knowing my higher nature. Mama Bhutam Maheshwaram, as the Mama Parambhavam is what? As the Bhuta Maheshwaram, as the Lord of all beings. So the deluded ones who look down upon me, who have taken a human form, not knowing my higher nature as the Lord of all beings. So the summary of Shloka 11 is not knowing the higher nature of God, which is the only real destination, is the cause of all human problems. Why? Because without the real destination, we will have other destinations which themselves are not permanent and therefore cannot give permanent happiness. Remember, it is like the gold. You just look for a chain, and the chain one day will be a chain, other day will be a ring, because there is gold is the only permanent one. Now, Shlokas 12 to 9 talk about how different people approach the problem of human suffering differently. Bhagavan classifies people into two kinds. Majority are ignorant. Select few understand the real nature of God, the real destination of life. He has told us in the 7th chapter also. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Very similar to the 7th chapter. Of the thousands of people, few strive for perfection. Of those few, hardly one knows me in essence. That's what Bhagavan is saying. So majority are ignorant, select few understand the real nature of God, the real destination of life. So this portion is cause of human samsara and suffering. Similar portion was there in the 7th chapter. And he's first talking about the mudas, the number one. Majority are ignorant. Those people he's talking about. Moga shamoga karmanaha moga jnana vichetasah rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mokinim shritah. Mogam means vain, or so moga asha means vain desires. Moga karmanaha, vain actions. Moga jnana vichetasaha, vain understanding. And vichetasaha means we, means without. We can also mean, it can also accentuate something. So you have to read it based on the context. So moga jnana, you can't say wonderful chetanam, wonderful understanding. No, because of devoid of discrimination. Vichetasaha, devoid of discrimination. Rakshasim asurim chaiva, resorting to the mohinim rakshasim asurim chaiva ashrataha, which means they ashrataha means taking refuge or resorting to the what kind of mohinim prakriti, deluding dispositions of the rakshasas and asuras, those of vain desires, vain actions, vain understanding, and devoid of discrimination, resort to the deluding dispositions of rakshasas and asuras. So Swamiji jokingly says, Rakshasa doesn't mean you have tusk, horn, and all that. Most people who belong to Rakshasa and Asura nature. So, main message, people rely on apara prakriti, which is unreliable. They do not have scriptural understanding about what is good, what is not good. And in the second chapter also, it comes, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayopyavasayinam. Oh, joy of the Kurus, there is only one ascertained understanding in this field of moksha or liberation. The notions of those who lack discrimination is many branched and endless. They want this, that, it's scattered understanding. Okay, so with that we will stop.